In a world where the ravages of climate change are already evident, how does poetry become a powerful tool for resistance and resilience? Well, we'll definitely have answers to this question because in the studio I have someone who has written WAILS from the Wild, which is a collection of poems on the climate change. He is Fidelis FUMBUI CHIABOH. It is a pleasure to have you on this set today, Fidelis.
Thank you so much, Susie. It's always a pleasure to be here.
I hope that you're doing fine.
I'm great. I'm great.
Okay. Today we are talking poetry. It is your recent publication, and this book is all about climate change. The main theme of the book is climate change. But first, I would like to find out from you, how much do you love nature?
I think that nature is very close to me, and I am very close to it. I think nature constitutes my family, and I have been taught to love nature by my mother, and I grew up with her seeing nature as a friend, as a brother, as a sister, as a playmate, because while in our farms we sit under trees to eat, we eat from the trees when the season for them to bear, we play with the birds on the trees, and when we were sick, she would harvest the leaves and give us as medications. So that created a connection that is indelible as far as I am concerned with nature.
Okay, now that you've grown this old, this big, what are those little things that you do on a daily basis so as to make your environment better?
I think that I inform myself first, and that is why I write. I inform those who are around me through my poetry, and practically I think if I am distracted by other commitments and I do not plant trees constantly, I try to do it regularly. I hope there's a difference with that.
Okay.
And it's on the 11th of July every year I plant a tree because that's supposed to be my birthday.
Okay.
I celebrate by planting a tree, and it's a tradition that revives me, that makes me feel that I'm contributing something to nature. I deal with children too every day, and I think it's important for them to grow with that love for nature. And that's why we have a school garden in Garoua, where I should thank Mr. Chiaboh, who has given us enough space to be able to practicalize this and protect nature. That is it.
Okay, you say that every 11th of July you do plant a tree. Have you been able to harvest from the tree so far?
I have done so.
And which tree is that?
I have eaten from the mango trees I planted some years back.
Okay.
I have eaten from the okra stems that I planted. It doesn't take long to grow.
6 months?
Yes.
3 or 6 months, I think so.
Less than that.
Less than that, okay.
Yes. I have eaten from the orange trees that I've planted, and wherever it meets me, it doesn't have to be in a particular place. If I am in Gaundere on the 11th of July, I'll try to get a tree and plant. So there are some trees I plant and I never get back there to see how they are doing, but my conscience is clear that I did something.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. An example to emulate, right? Okay.
I hope so.
WAILS from the Wild, a collection of poems on climate change. Now, you choose to be an eco-poet. Tell me why.
I think that in the spirit of Mahatma Gandhi, it's important to sensitize people that the earth provides enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Okay. It's important to let mankind know that there is that need to exploit nature with moderation, so that we do not greedily do it and it leads to a disaster in the future. That is basically what I am preaching, what I am living, and what I hope will create an impact.
Okay. It is time for us to meet Lucon Beltus, who has written the foreword of this book, because he has something to add other than what he wrote in the foreword.
Wales of Agony is a text that can be summarized into one word: romanticism. And what is romanticism? It is the love of nature. So how does this concern you and I, the Cameroonian people? The text talks about how nature is. If you go towards nature to love nature, to appreciate it, nature will reward you with the positive that there are. If you go towards nature to abuse it, then you definitely will be rewarded with the negative consequences as we've seen. Abusing the ozone layer is transform the climatic condition of the country. You don't know when it is the dry season and the rainy season. Things are just happening the way they are. And trust me, it is not just talking about the physical environment, but talking about humanity's love for humanity. So when you look at this collection, we can start by talking about the thematic concerns that are explored in the text. I mean, he addresses salient societal issues that reached out to the readers directly. When you talk about how he communicates in terms of diction, the diction that is used in the poetry, that is the language, is not just for the very educated. The diction used here is for people to get informed. He tries to communicate to all the categories of people in the society. If we get Cameroonians young enough and tender, conscious about the environment, they will do the needful at the right time, not running after adults that are already built with very difficult ideas. Secondly, when talking about the style, the text is written within the Cameroonian context. The themes and the symbols used in the text, the metaphors, they are all in sync with our Cameroonian society. People have written works and used symbols and metaphors that we do not really relate with. But when you read this particular collection of poetry, you have the feeling that the examples are taken from your own backyard. And so it helps it facilitates the understanding. It helps the reader to get the message without straining. Why should you read the text Wales of Agony? Because the poems are just so many. If you want the poems to read and laugh, they are there. If you want the poems to read and smile, they are there. If you want the poems that will take you down memory lane, in terms of being sorrowful about the things that you have done to affect nature, negatively, they are there. If you are looking for poems to inspire you to refresh your relationship with nature, they are there. At this point in time, I can only say that Wales of Agony is that collection that it is that must-have collection, that must-read collection, and it is the next most recommended collection.
We are in conversation with the author of Wales from the Wild, Fidelis FUMBUI CHIABOH. In a world where the ravages of climate change are already evident, tell us, how does poetry, become a tool to salvage the situation?
Poetry is but one genre of literature.
Yes.
And literature is intended to inform, to instruct, to educate, to moralize. And I think that through this genre, it's easy to inform, to instruct, and to teach the reader how to treat nature, how to expect nature to be treated, because nature, when it's well treated, reciprocates. When you treat it badly, it will also bite you. And poetry to me is a very important weapon. Well, maybe I think it's important because that is what I have. That is the tool I have. And I've seen the impact it creates on children. I've seen them come to school with their parents so excited to plant a tree somewhere and water that tree every morning, hoping that it grows. And when you plant a tree and see it grow, the children see it grow, we even believe that it has some spiritual implication on them. And even after they leave the place, they want to come back and see what's happening to the tree. So I have used this medium. I think that it's an important tool to revitalize nature.
Now let's talk about the poems. There are 75 poems in this book, and I would like to ask you, which one resonates with you the most and why?
I love the poems. It's a tricky question. I love all the poems I've written here. But I think that when I remember, or when I know there's someday I'll have to leave, and hope that my writing stay, I think of the poem After I Die. I love it so much because it gives me the impression that I have something to leave on
On
earth
page
when I die.
35, yes.
Yes,
I hope
page,
those who have the book already
yes,
can open to page
open
35.
and
Yes.
see After I Die.
Okay, can you give us a few lines
Okay.
and tell us exactly what it is?
After I die, to me, is my will.
Okay.
It is what I want to be done to nature, how I want nature to be treated, and how I want people to think of me after I die.
Okay,
That's
read the first three stanzas.
Okay. After I die and can no longer speak, let the evil words I planted wither, but let the good, like a fig tree, sprout. After I die and can no longer see, let the evil I saw be forgotten, but like a smile, let green drops show. After I die and can no longer erect, let the heartbreaks be forgotten, but like the sun, show my kids love. I think those are the first three stanzas.
And I just want to ask you, do you think the language here is simple enough for everyone to understand what you're talking about?
Yes, I think the language is simple. The language, the diction of my poetry, especially in this collection, because I wrote it having junior secondary school in mind, it's simple enough. The images are not morally destructive, and I think that no matter how simple poetry is, if you read 2 times, you get 2 different impressions about it. So each time you read, you may see something new because of its arrangement and all the like. The structure will give you meaning, the diction will give you meaning, and your mood at the time you are reading will give you some meaning.
Okay. We are definitely going to come back because it's time for us to have our Vox Pop. And this is the question: have you noticed any changes in your local environment that you have attributed to climate change?
There are so many things that are happening that is a little bit very, very strange. Look at if you look at how people are reacting to illnesses. Malaria has become rampant. Typhoid has become rampant. People are feeling some type of heat that is abnormal. So when you look at such things that are happening to us, you start seeing how climate change is really affecting our society. And more to that, even when our parents don't even know when to plant. Uh, Look at if you look at somewhere around here, you will not see any maize around here, but we planted. Uh, it's because they did not do it at the right time because of this climate change. And so hunger also is another very serious problem. We are hungry because we don't have food because of this climate change. We don't know when and how to do our planting.
There are a lot of changes that I have recognized. You know, at first, at first we used to differentiate between rainy season and dry season, knowing that rainy season starts around March and continues by November, the rainy season and dry season. But now it is very difficult to determine. At times we even plant our crops. We don't even know the time that we can plant our crops this time.
You are watching The Book with Susie, and we are glad to have Fidelis FUMBUI CHIABOH with his book WAILS from the Wild, a collection of poems on the climate change. Now, I want to ask you the same question. Have you noticed any changes in your local environment that you attribute to climate change?
Yes, I think that the last time I spoke with my mother back in the Northwest, she doesn't know when to plant any longer. When I grew up, the planting seasons were clear because you could clearly say when rain would start falling and when rain would stop. Now it's chaos. It's just some sort of disorder that's clearly a situation of climate change. And it affects the crops that are planted. It affects our health too. It affects the human being in every aspect. I think the main thing is the fact that rain we no longer have a traditional calendar, as we used to say, rain can start from this time and end at this particular time. We also understand that it's becoming hotter and hotter and all the like. We are facing a situation that if we do not go back to the traditions of the old as far as treatment of nature is concerned, it will get worse.
Yes, and if we want to overcome this, should it be a personal effort, or it should be a collective kind of engagement?
I think it should be a collective engagement with a personal enthusiasm. Because if we rely just on the collective, sometimes you will not perform your tasks because others are not doing so. But if we take that personal challenge to do something as an individual, no matter how little we think it is, it will create a huge impact. If you think you are too small to create an impact, certainly you've not spent the night in the room with a single mosquito and see what it will do to you. So no matter where you are, who you are, take your initiative, take the responsibility, and do something to remedy the present situation.
Yeah, and I like when you said in the book that the time for that is now and not tomorrow.
That is
okay. It is true your main focus on the WAILS from the wild is the devastating effects of climate change, but in between the lines you equally raise themes such as corruption, marginalization and drug abuse. Raising awareness on these societal ills was very important, for you. Why?
Because even when we realize that something is bad and try to have a collective effort to remedy it, there is always that iota, that cankerworm of corruption that distracts those who are supposed to channel the fight. I think money allocated for planting of trees will end up in people's pockets, and the seminars we organize on paper and they will never be held physically and all the like. So there is that need that in everything we are doing, we have to kill that cankerworm of corruption, of bribery and dishonesty. That's basically it.
Okay, well, we're going to come back because time for us to take our last break on this program, which is On the Shelf. And of course, we started off with something. We wanted you and I to discover a bookshop, and this time around, the question we're finding out from our resource person is to tell us what it takes to open a bookshop. What are the preliminaries? What are the things that are necessary before to put in? What are the things that need to be put in place in order to open a bookshop? And he's out there to tell us a lot about that.
This country, there are laws and rules and regulations binding all businesses. So we don't just operate in a vacuum. There are so many things we have to do as a businessman. The first thing is to determine the business structure. Is it a sole proprietorship? Is it a limited liability? Sole proprietorship means you running the business as an individual, taking all the decisions and so on, as a small scale business. Or is it a limited liability wherein you want to bring in other partners who can buy shares? So you have to determine these two first. That is where you start. Secondly, you have to register the company. Where do you register? You have to register the company at the Ministry of Commerce. You have to register the company at Labor because you have to recruit workers. In order to register this company, for instance, what did we do? We needed to assemble documents. What are the documents we are talking about here? They include administrative documents, like the taxpayer's card, the registered documents, or what is called in English incorporation. We have the REIT bank, the bank administration, we have the location plan, and a whole lot of others. When we have these documents, we have to take them to the authorities that give so that they can approve. That is the third point. Next, you are supposed to have a unique identification number. Every business that pays taxes in this country must have a unique identification number. And at Chilo, we have one. We have a unique identification number. When you have done this as a businessman, there are many other questions you need to ask and answer. Where will the business be located? For Shilo, we are operating in 4 towns in this country. When you have determined where to open, you need to get a specific place. You need a building that can house the activity. So when you look around here, we have a building that have the shop section for the exhibition of items, the books and stationery, and we have office space behind, parking space behind, and we have toilet facilities too, just like in the other branches that we have. What next are you supposed to do? You are supposed to recruit workers. You determine the profile of the different workers that you need for your business. Then you do vetting and you recruit them. You conduct an interview and you recruit them. It doesn't end there. When you recruit them, you have to train them. You train them, then you place them, and you can start your business. But that is not all. When you have all that, that is the structural aspect. You need to now go out there, determine what you want to put on your shelves. Like here we have books and stationery. You identify the sources and you get those things from them. You advertise your business, then you can now say you are operating.
You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, definitely you've not missed out on anything, because you still have time to catch up with what we are talking about today. It is WAILS from the Wild, which is a collection of poems, and Fidelis FUMBUI CHIABOH is right here with us. Now, I just want us to look at this cover page of the book. I find it very, very interesting. What was it that you wanted to illustrate choosing this picture?
I wanted an image that could tell the story. And I wanted an image that could paint perfectly what I fear would happen if we continue to molest and torture and mutilate and disrespect nature. And when I gave my idea to the publisher, I should be able to thank him and his graphic designer. I should thank Dr. Nyahans of Nya Publishers, because when I gave him a picture of this, and I gave him a description of what I wanted, he designed this, and I really find it captivating. It tells the story I fear. It gives an image of how the world would be. We have only trunks of trees without leaves. It can't serve as shelter any longer. It can't serve as medication any longer. It can't serve as a source of food any longer, because it's drying off since our water bodies are disappearing.
And the last thing is, copies, are they already available in the market?
Yes, copies are available. You can get them from bookshops around. We can get them from Nya Publishers. You can contact me for copies. Yes, if you need any.
Yes, can we get your contact?
Okay, you can contact me through the following contact: 652-102002, 652-102002.
Okay, well, that is it for today. Fidelis, I'm so happy that you were able to make it out today for the program, The Book with Susie.
Thank you so much, Susie. It's always a pleasure.
Okay, and I will end by saying that WAILS from the Wild is a must-read piece of creative writing that shows how the fight against environmental degradation is winnable. Thank you for watching, and thank you to the entire production team. Thank you. Do have a blessed day.